All right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those boxes. These are just the kind of undervalued, underappreciated, forgotten about, weird, oddball kind of things that I just like to talk about. So hopefully you enjoyed this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. I am recording this one a little bit early because I am planning to have this drop when I am away on vacation. So I didn't want to have to worry about trying to record shows because I don't know what kind of free time I'm going to have. So with that all said, hopefully you don't mind this being really pre-recorded, but it is what it is. I still think it's a fun selection of books, and I don't think the prices are going to change all that much over the week that I am recording this and when you guys are actually watching this. So with that said, once I get back, we're going to get probably back to the regular schedule, so we will not be stretching the Hidden Gems and Chasing Ghosts flip-flop for much longer. We will eventually get back, so everything will be back on track. And with that all said, if you want to see what books I got for you this week, just hang on for a few seconds, and I will be back after the little intro. Oakley dokley. So let's get this started. And this week, no theme, nothing like that. I don't know. Some of you guys were interested in the Adventure Time thing, but not everybody loved it. So we're gonna go back and try another little oddball selection of things. Starting off with variants. And while there's no overarching theme to the entire show, some of these segments might have a little bit of a theme amongst themselves. But with multiple sections, you're gonna get multiple options here. Starting off with our variants, we are going to hit some of my favorites. I love these old IDW 1 in 10s. This time we're going to hit up Transformers. Yes, we've done these before. I think we covered like 1 through 20 or 1 through 10 thereabouts. We're going to hit up more in the teens and the 20s this time out with a selection of books for you to take a look at. Starting with, what is this? Issue number 17. Again, you can see on the cover, it says RI, that's retailer incentive. This is the 1 in 10 for Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, number 17. Pretty cool cover. It gives me a kind of like a 2001 Space Odyssey kind of HAL vibe, the isolation, the desolation of the character just kind of sitting there. But with that, let's see what this 1 in 10 does. Unsold. Interesting. As I said, these aren't things that happen and sell all the time. Some of these are forgotten about and undervalued, but not always. Sometimes these are things that you might not know are worth a few bucks that actually are. So while none have sold the last 3 months, there are a couple of copies out there for this 1 in 10 looking for $50 and $100. So, as I said, they're not always undervalued. Sometimes these are pricey things that you just might not have been aware are as pricey as they are. That said, not every single Transformers 1 in 10 IDW book is worth $50 to $100. They jump around for different reasons, first appearances of some oddball character here or there, cover might draw more people in, etc. Not all of them are worth a ton, but some of them are. So I'm going to spotlight a few that are selling for above that kind of like double ratio kind of mark. So 50 to 100 asking price here on this number 17 ain't too bad. Neither is the asking price, and we're on the next one too. So we're gonna go up to now to number 18. Pretty cool cover. A lot of orange, a lot of red. It kind of like catches the eye, draws you in. This is a 1 in 10 for issue number 18. You can see cover RI at the top. While none have sold, just like the last book, the asking prices here are $40, $65, $85. So this is the kind of thing you can go and dig out of a back issue box and you just see RI, Transformers. Just if the price is right, just grab it. Because like I said, while some of them might only be, $5 to $10 just because of randomness, others could be like this: $40, $65, $80. Just trying to help you out in figuring out which ones are more valuable than others. But sometimes there isn't a really good way to tell. You just have to either know or don't know, or just go and check. The point being, go with your gut. Go with your gut. If you're digging in a box, you find some old Transformers RIs, and they're cheap enough, just grab them. Just take a shot and grab them. That's all. That's it. Moving on to our next one. This is number 24, Transformers. Dark Cybertron is like this storyline. Chapter 4. We've got Shockwave on the cover here. Pretty cool cover. So I think that's why this one is probably drawing a little bit more interest, because you got that, classic purple Decepticon, taking care of the Ultra Magnus. I can't tell who's in front of him, but I didn't read the book. I'm just looking at the cover right now. That said, this 1 in 10, once again, doesn't have any recent sales. A lot of these don't. But let's see. So none sold, but as far as what's available, $70, $85. As I said, pretty expensive for 1 in 10s, right? Just another one. Keep your eye on. Like I said, some of it's about the character. It's not Soundwave. Yeah, Soundwave, tape recorder, Soundwave, Shockwave is a fan favorite, so some of these covers will sell for a bit of a premium. Keep that in mind. I think I got 1 or 2 more for you here before we go on to our next segment. Another 1 in 10, still kind of in this same range. And again, we can go all the way to the end because there are ones that are valuable all the way through the end, but not every single one. As I said, some of them aren't worth anything or don't sell for anything. Just what it is. What is this? This is 26, I think. The next one. So Dark Cybertron, number 8. You got some of the female Transformers on there, so that's kind of a rarity. You don't see that a lot. So that is, I think, the interest on this particular book. You're getting some of these characters. While none have sold, once again, the asking price on these are expensive. Yeah, that's $700 raw. And if you think it's a one-off, well, look at the graded. 9/8 are looking for $950 to $1,100. Yeah. I think this is the first appearance as well. Windblade. I think it's like first appearance of Windblade, but I don't really know what the big draw about Windblade is. Why this is $1,000 book. Just saying. That's the asking prices. Does that mean this book is worth that much? Absolutely not. But it is worth noting that that's what people are asking for. If you had one, well, who knows what you would sell yours for? Maybe you could sell it for a little bit less. Maybe you could sell it for the same amount or more. Who knows? Just saying. This is what's on the market. That's what's out there. It's for you to make your decision for yourself what you want to do if you find a book like this. So there you go. Number 26, RI, is really, really expensive. Let's take a look at, I think, one more. Number 27, another Shockwave cover. A lot of purple here. Pretty cool. Chapter 10 in this Dark Cybertron storyline. Like I said, another RI 1 in 10. And another book where there are no recent sales. They just aren't selling. But if you go look at the few copies that are out there, this one, there's a cheap one at $22.50, but then $60 on another. So once again, just keep an eye out for them. You never know, right? You never know what you might find when you go out there digging in those boxes. All right, enough with the Transformers RIs. Let's go and shift on over to some later prints, some later printings. This also has a different kind of a theme, I guess, running across these. As for this section, I kind of wanted to look at those Hulk books. We're getting Thunderbolts eventually. We're getting Thunderbolt Ross, possibly Red Hulk coming, whether it be a Disney Plus or the movies, something sometime soon. I think it's pretty much inevitable at this point, right? So let's look at some of these Hulk second prints for that run. This is number 1 of Hulk from 2008. This is the second print. This is a wraparound cover. Abomination, etc. Going through this. I don't believe he actually showed up yet in this story, nor is the Red Hulk yet in this book. But these are the ones that kind of sell for this time, because the regular cover has the big Red Hulk on the cover, even though he doesn't show up in the storyline. I don't think until the next issue, really. But let's get past all that. Point being, second print for number 1, if you can find it, it's like $15. Available copies again, $15, $20, $35. Some of the asking prices. So if you find one, yeah, you might find yourself a nice little treat for a few bucks. Number 2. And again, we're not going to do the whole run. We're going to do the first few and then kind of jump to a couple more. Number 2, second print, Red Hulk there on the cover. I believe this might wrap around as well, but I don't have the image for it. But this one does okay too. You're talking about $13, $20 recent sales. Asking prices $25 to $30. It's not too bad again for a second print. Now we're going to show you a few more. We do have the second prints for number 3, where you get the green and the red together. And then we got issues 4 and 5. 4 is actually on its side, like you have to turn it on its side. You got Red Hulk punching the Watcher, which is kind of cool. And then another cool McGinnis. These are all Ed McGinnis covers, by the way, with Thor going right at Red Hulk there. Like these covers across all of these. all these second prints have solid new art covers. So that's why I find these interesting. Apart from the fact that they do sell for a bit of a premium if you can find them. Yes, some of them can be cheap. Like you can see this one for number 4. It was a second print. It's only like $4, $5. That's the wraparound punching the Watcher. So you don't get to see it on the other side. So it could be kind of cheap, but the asking prices are also 8 to 20, 15s, there's 10s. You're looking at 10 to 20 bucks, really, realistically. So number 1 and number 2, because they're earlier in the run, go for a little bit more, but 3 to 5, you're still looking at 10 to 20 if you can find them. So if you find them in a box, cover price less, maybe you found yourself a nice little treat. Jumping ahead a little bit, we're going to go to number 14 here. Second print here. You got Deadpool in this one. So that's a nice little draw for some folks. There are also incentive variants for some of these books, but we're not looking at those. We're just talking about the second prints here. So the second print for number 14, this one had sold for $50 for an 8.5. Weird grade, but it's sold. So I had to report it. But that's the only thing I found. 8.5 for 50. Whatever. But you can see otherwise, raw copies are looking for 10 to 20, up to $40. So there are still some fishing prices out there for some of this weird stuff, but by and large, it's still 10 to 20 bucks ain't too bad. Again, you also depending on grade. I mean, that $10 one's got an 8 to 8.5 kind of grade on it, so you're getting a very fine, kind of mid-grade copy for that price. So just be aware of what you're paying for. That said, one more, I think. I got one more later print that we can talk about here for number 9. Oh, no, a few more, actually. Got a few more. That's not one more. That's right, because the Fall of the Hulks run has some pretty solid second prints. Keep an eye out for, too. So for the Fall of the Hulks, Hulk number 19, we'll start here. Also, second print cover. You got Thing going at Red Hulk there. This one, I couldn't find any sales or anything available. Does it mean it's a ghost? Well, not necessarily. It just means it's not available right now. One could pop up at any time. But still, it's an interesting to note that I couldn't find any. Some of these might not have a lot of copies out there. So that's why you're going to sell for a little bit more when they do come for, up for sale. Moving on, number 20, we got the leader, MODOK. You got the Intelligentsia here on the cover for Hulk number 20. Once again, couldn't find any recent sales, but this one did have a couple of copies available. Also, you got Reed and Dr. Doom there. It's kind of fun. There's a copy up for $1, and then a copy up for 15. So inconsistent pricing, but stuff's out there. If you want to go and hunt, go and dig. Sometimes you can find even online stuff for cheap. Moving on for 20, we're going to go to 21. We got this Cyber Hulk thing going on here. Looks like, Terminator Hulk. I don't know. But Hulk number 21 from Fall of the Hulks. Again, nothing sold recently, but a couple of copies available. Looking for $10 to $40. Some fishing prices, but by and large, a lot of these things are like 10 to 15 bucks. Next one, issue 22, and I think this is our last one for our second print area here. World War Hulks. Now we've rolled from the Fall of the Hulks to World War Hulks here with this second print. Pretty cool. I don't like all of the black. It's got like almost like the movie box screen. I don't like those variants. I feel like there's too much wasted space. We could have a lot more art, but it is what it is. For this one, second print, nothing sold recently, but like the others, there are a couple available looking for 15 to 20 bucks. Not terrible. All right, moving on. I got 2 more segments for you, and we're going to go through our next one, which is video games. You guys know I like video games. I like video game adaptation comic books as well. This next one, I think there's rumors of some sort of show or something coming to Netflix. We'll see if that's why there's interest here, but it was a pretty cool game. I didn't finish it. I think it's a PlayStation exclusive. It was just kind of difficult, and I just got lost in the shuffle of games. That said, I did enjoy playing it for a bit, and that game was Bloodborne. First issue had multiple covers. This is, I believe, the cover A. All of the covers are worth grabbing. You can find them. This video game cover is really sought after as well, and there's also a B and a C. The video game cover, I think, is cover D for our purposes here. And you can see the prices on this are pretty interesting. $20 will get you cover A raw, or $250 for a 9.8. Those are recent sales. Meanwhile, the video game cover is more like $25 or $100 raw. All right, those are what's actually sold. Asking prices, well, let's look at this. So asking prices, one of the variants, cover C, is like $300. That video game raw is like $70 to $125. The whole lot of all 4 covers, $200. These things are just pricey. Point being, prices are a little inconsistent, but they're all well above if you can find stuff like this for cover or anything a little close to it. You find this in a box for $10. I'd say you probably want to grab it because potential's there. Just saying. So issue 1, any of the covers are probably worth your time in grabbing. The video game one's probably the most interesting one because that one commands the most premium right off the bat. But I think there's upside in all 4. That said, this issue first run, because there's multiple mini series that came out of this title from what's this? Is that a Titan? I can't remember who. Yeah, this is Titan Comics. So these, are not one of the big companies. So print run's probably on the lower end, but you can still find these out there, especially with the multiple covers. Issue 2 had 2 covers as well. So you got the regular cover and a video game cover. I think were the Bs for the most part. Nothing sold recently, but asking prices $30 to $50. So again, not cheap at all. And again, either cover doesn't matter. Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter, but they're both worth looking for. Issue 3, once again, you got an art cover, and then the B cover is the video game cover. One of these did sell for $20. The video game cover sold for $20 back in July. And as far as the asking prices go on these, both are listed for like $60. Either one. So again, we're not even talking about just the first issue. First issue, second issue, third issue, all worth your time if you could find them. Wrapping it up with the 4th and final issue of this initial run. Again, there's other minis. They don't do as quite as well as obviously as the first mini, but they may be worth looking into down the line. Again, cover A, cover B is the video game cover on issue 4. Once again, we have a couple of sales. We'll see here. Prices they could go pretty cheap. For whatever reason, number 4 doesn't seem to sell for as much. $3 for that video game cover, and then $8 for the the cover A. Those are what's sold. And then asking prices, well, 10 to 20. Still well below the other ones. The other ones are like 50, 60. The issue 4, for whatever reason, I guess print runs, caught up because I think the book got a little popular right out of the gate. I do believe issue 1 was selling for a premium, like a double cover kind of cover on opening day, Wednesday, right when it was released. So I think it had that going for it. So then maybe issue 4 had a bit of a higher print run because stores and shops got to up their orders with FOC for the other issues down the line. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Whatever it might be, I'd still say if they're cheap enough, grab any of the covers on any of the first 4 issues. But you can see where the money is being asked for, at least for now. That said, we're like almost 20 minutes in, but I got one more quick little segment for you, and this is our little mashups. So with this one, this is a title you guys probably already know. They made tons of these. There's a lot of copies of these out there. And the title I'm talking about is When Marvel and DC Decided to Do a Crossover Event. So Marvel versus DC. Issue 1 and 4 is actually DC versus Marvel because DC printed them. And then issues 2 and 3 are Marvel versus DC because Marvel printed them. All the characters, going at it, etc. Regular covers are fine. You can find them for a couple of bucks and you can probably get a couple of bucks for them. But there are some interesting little variants within that. Newsstands will command a premium for any of the 4 issues, as there's newsstands for all 4 of them. But the DC books also have, if you've been looking at the screen, the DC Universe variant. So those are those ones that were sold in those packs at like Toys R Us or whatever the heck, the DC Universe variants, which is a whole nother topic and a whole nother subset we can get into one of these days. I know we've talked about it before, but keep an eye out for them because those ones also can do pretty well on issues, again, 1 and 4, because those are the 2 that DC published as part of this crossover event. While I don't have any recent sales of this version of the book, I'm just looking for the DC Universe variant here. I did find a couple available, looking for about $30 for issue 1. I think the regular issue for issue 1 is only like a $10 book, so you can see that's where the premium comes from with the DC Universe logo on it. Same thing with the newsstand, will kind of double up the price. So the newsstand will be like a $20 book. DC Universe like a $30 book. So you can see the stages and levels to this. All right, so that was DC did the first issue. We'll come back to them after Marvel had their go with the middle 2. No DC Universe variants because Marvel published it, and there's no Marvel version of that. But there were newsstands. So issue 2 newsstand is out there. You'd find it with just straight up barcode, doesn't say direct edition. Copies could go for as cheap as $5 up to $25. Well, $25 was for a lot. and you got $10 sales here and there. It's a little inconsistent, I'll admit it, because not everybody who's selling newsstands lists them as newsstands. So you got to go for that too. Some of this could be a little bit of a, almost like a little hunt, a little game for you to play. Go and dig it out. Copies available. You can see people are asking anywhere from $14 to $40 though for available newsstand copies. Issue 3 from Marvel versus DC. Also, again, newsstand edition. Copy sold recently. Once again, not that expensive. $10 raw, $100 for a 9.6. Not too bad. Asking prices on the other end, around $20 for the raw, $100 again for the 9.6. So just keep that in mind. And these are cardstock, like matte, shiny, glossy kind of covers. So a little bit thicker. So it's easy. I don't want to say easier, getting higher grade, but they're a little sturdier. But if they do get damaged, there's no going back from it for the most part. There's no pressing a lot of the damage that could be done to one of these types of covers. Just saying. I know that people out there who are magicians with presses and etc. I'm just saying, by and large, if they're really beat up, just get it to read it. Otherwise, just leave it behind, maybe. That said, we'll wrap it up with number 4, coming back to DC, another DC Universe variant down there below. This one, once again, no copies sold recently, but one copy available, and it wants $25. So, again, you're not going to get rich, but it's still a fun little thing that you might be able to pull out of a dollar bin, because you still could find this miniseries in dollar bins. Because, again, it was printed heavily. It was a popular thing. It was a big event. They made a lot of them. So, there's a lot left over. And with $4 cover price, yeah, they eventually found their way into those cheap boxes. So just try to dig out. You got to go down to the bottom, though. You got to dig out those newsstands and those DC Universe variants from the regular ones. But even if you grab the regular ones, you grab 4 of them for $4. Maybe you can sell the whole set for $15 to $20. I don't know. If you want to grind it out like that, go ahead. You can do it. I'm just saying, if you're really looking to score more, you got to keep an eye out for the DC Universe or the newsstands. That's all. And with that, that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that little trip back into our old school version of Hidden Gems, where we did a bunch of different categories, different books, etc. Next time out, I think we're going to go back to Chasing Ghosts, and then the week after, I will probably do a Last to Know version of Hidden Gems. So just be on the lookout for that. But with that all said, thanks for stopping by. Thank you for the support, and I got plenty more content coming your way, even when I'm away on vacation. So with that said, I'll see you all later. Okay, bye.